Hi everyone, it's Samara. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be all about the new year. So without further ado, I'm going to be telling you what I hope is in store for my 2026. Firstly, let's start with my bucket list, which is arguably the most exciting part about thinking about the new year. So for this, I actually took inspiration from Sof Mosca. If you don't already know who she is, I'll leave all of her socials down in the description. But basically, she had a series on TikTok last year-ish, where she did 25 new things while she was 25. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed watching it. And so I wanted to take inspiration from that. And this year, for me, do 21 things while I'm 21. So instead of like trying new things, just like things that I've wanted to do. So kind of like a bucket list anyway. My birthday's in July, so I've already started that, but I'm going to tell you what's on my list. There's some things on here that are ambitious, some things that are a bit more tame, and I wanted to just like vary it out and, you know, see where the year takes me. Okay, firstly, I've got learn to drive. In the UK, you can learn to drive from the age of 17. I started learning to drive at the age of 17. I also did my theory test, so like the written test, when I was 17, but I never did my practical because I ended up going to university in London, and there's not really any point in learning to drive because public transport just like takes over everything. So I stopped learning to drive. And also in the UK, once it's been 2 years since you've taken your theory test, you actually have to retake it. So I'm 21 now. I took my theory test when I was 17. So now I have to retake the theory as well. So yeah, top of the list, learn to drive, or at least pass the theory test. Okay, the second thing on my list is get my A2 certificate in Spanish. So I've been learning Spanish for about 2 years-ish. I'm like currently working at a B1 level of Spanish, but I never actually got my A2 certificate. So I want to get my A2 certificate. That's what me and my tutor are currently working on. The next thing I've got here is get qualified to teach English language, GCSE and A-levels. I'm actually qualified to teach English as a foreign language, but that doesn't qualify me to teach English to English speakers, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's another thing on my list. Okay, next we have travel to a new continent. Obviously I live in Europe, so I've been to Europe. I've been to North America. I went to New York once. That's the only time I've ever been to North America. And that's it. So fingers crossed this year I can make it to a new continent. Okay, next thing on the list, read at least 12 books. Now, while I was at university, obviously I was reading a lot of academic material, and that meant that I didn't have as much time for reading recreationally. And I absolutely love to read. If you know me, you know that I've constantly got a book. So this year I want to make sure that I at least read 12 books, so at least one book a month. I've actually not read that many books in the past few years because of university. So yeah, I definitely want to read at least 12 books. Now this is the one that is probably most unattainable purely because of how lazy I am, but here I've got complete the 75 hard challenge. I don't know when I'm going to do it, I don't know when I'm going to start it. Theoretically, you feel like you should start it in the new year, but I don't have a gym membership. I'm also unemployed. So yeah, I do want to do the 75 hard challenge. I mean, I've seen great things about it, and I think it would do me a lot of good for like my mental and physical well-being, but I do want to do that at some point. I just don't know if that is the most attainable thing on this list. Okay, next thing is learn to play the guitar. So I can play the guitar. I can play a few chords. I've got a guitar. It was my dad's guitar and he gave it to me. With a guitar, I can't just like play, and I really want to be able to have that skill. So the next thing is complete traveling through Western Europe. I don't think people realize how big Europe actually is. Like, it's quite big. There's a lot of countries in Europe. So to say that I can travel the whole of Europe is very ambitious. It's definitely not going to happen this year. However, to say that I could travel Western Europe is potentially attainable, so I'd really like to try and do that. The next thing is start a new hobby. I don't know what that's going to be. I haven't really put much thought into it, but if you have any hobby suggestions, leave them down below. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, I definitely want to start learning something new. So the next one is actually go on 12 dates. Now, that is dependent on if anyone wants to date me. But yeah. Go on 12 dates is on here, whatever that may be. It could be friend dates as well. I feel like there's a whole idea that dates are only romantic and they can be whatever they want to be. And so yeah, go on at least like 12 like date style outings, I guess maybe I should put down. Okay, next, watch the sunrise at the beach. I've seen the sunrise from the hills, I've seen the sunrise from like a balcony before and things like that. And I know it sounds really silly, but I really want to watch the sunrise at the beach, just like the beauty of it and the beauty of just like seeing the sky and like hearing the water. I don't know. It just sounds like a really magical experience. Maybe for my birthday this year, who knows? But yeah, watch the sunrise at the beach is definitely on my bucket list. So the next one is take a pottery class. Now, there's a lot of pottery classes near me, weirdly enough. There's a lot of pottery painting as well, but I've done pottery painting in the past and I really want to be able to, like, you know, make something, like a bowl, a mug, a vase, whatever it is. Okay, mug is a bit ambitious, but like a bowl maybe, a plate, who knows? I'm not gonna say I'm particularly good at pottery. I don't know, really, but that's for me to find out. But yeah, I do want to do a pottery class this year too. Start letter writing. It's a lot more poetic and I guess heartfelt than like dropping a text or like calling someone, which obviously does have value, but I feel like sending actual letters has a bit more sentimental value. Okay, complete 150 Spanish lessons. So as I said, I've been doing Spanish for about 2 years now. I usually have lessons every week, but because of different things, you know, national holidays and like personal things and whatnot, it hasn't been every week consistently. As I'm filming this, I've currently taken 111 lessons. I mean, that seems attainable. Theoretically, if I'm consistent, I will 100% hit 150. Okay, next, keep up with musical theatre. If you know me in real life, you know that I have done many, many years of musical theatre, so I want to be able to keep that up, like, as a extracurricular. I don't know, maybe that can be my hobby for the year. Maybe, like, 2 birds, 1 stone. I don't know, it takes me back to a place of just like enjoyment and calm, and it's like a safe space for me. I would love to find something to do in that general field. Okay, next is attend a talk. So that can be a talk related to anything, linguistics, Spanish, reading, one of my like personal interests, like career development, I don't know, but I want to attend a talk. Okay, take a class related to something I'm interested in. I want to like find like a class related to like Adobe and just like creative processes and like editing and Photoshop and like things like that to like enhance my skills essentially. So there's actually 4 things on this list that I've already completed, which, as I said, I started this at the end of July, so these 4 things still count as part of my bucket list, but yeah, I've already started them. So watch 12 new movies. I am addicted to Letterboxd. I just love it. So yeah, I use Letterboxd religiously. I've already watched 12 new movies, so that's one thing. Vlog. So since my birthday, I actually did a multi-vlog. If you haven't seen that already, you can go watch that video after this one. But yeah, I wanted to vlog this year, which I've already started, and I'm hoping I'll do a bit more frequently. Okay, the next thing is get a new tattoo. I just wanted a new tattoo in general. I didn't know what that was going to be when I wrote it down, but I did just want a new tattoo. I actually got 2 new tattoos in the same sitting. And finally, number 21, the last thing on this list, is start journaling. I cannot express enough how much journaling has helped me. Okay, this is my tiny little journal. It's literally just like a little like pocketbook. This has been an absolute godsend. I write down things to, you know, essentially regulate my emotions. I know that sounds a bit weird. I've struggled with being very pessimistic for a very long time, and journaling has just sort of helped me come out of that pessimistic space, like being able to see something written down physically and understand, okay, this is what this actually is, and is this affecting you as much as you think it is, and things like that is so incredibly helpful. Okay, so those were all of the things on my bucket list, and now we're getting to my resolutions, which is a lot smaller of a list purely because a lot of things I feel like are on New Year's resolution lists are actually things that should be on a bucket list, so they kind of go in tandem, I guess. But I do have a sort of resolutions list. Go to more concerts. At the moment, for next year, I am going to see Dave, Renee Rapp, Rosalia, and I'm going to see Bon Jovi with my mum, which is really random, but my mum is a huge fan, literally like his biggest fan. I've grown up listening to him, and she wanted someone to go with, so of course I would go with her. So the next thing is visit more places in the UK. So yeah, just like exploring more places in the UK that I may not have been to before, or returning to places that I do love. Okay, so the next thing is watch more plays. I am very, very lucky that the West End is accessible to me, but I feel that I don't watch as many plays as I should. Okay, and finally, my intentions. And you might be thinking, how are intentions different from resolutions? To me, resolutions are a lot more tangible, so things that can be achieved or you can see being achieved, whereas intentions are more mental and emotional states that you set out to sort of implement in your daily life going into the new year, if that makes sense. Okay, so for the new year, there are 3 main intentions that I'm 100% going to be bringing with me, and I need to make sure that I put these into practice. Okay, so this is editing tomorrow coming to you because everything I just said about my intentions did not make sense at all. I want you to bear in mind this before editing was a 40-minute video, so I'm probably losing my train of thought at this point. The 3 main intentions I want to be taking into the new year with me are being more self-compassionate, being more creative and curious, and setting boundaries. Obviously, setting boundaries is a must for everyone. Learning when to say no is extremely important. Being more curious and creative comes from wanting to learn more, as I spoke about in the video, putting more effort into like my Spanish lessons and taking classes and attending talk. Being curious and creative hopefully will help me get to, you know, a better place with all of those things. And of course, being more self-compassionate. Again, as I said earlier in the video, I am quite the pessimist, and so learning to be more self-compassionate hopefully will get me out of that rut. That's what I was trying to say, essentially. Back to the video. So yeah, those were my intentions, resolutions and bucket list for 2026. I would love to know what is on your bucket list or what are your intentions for the new year. I think it's a great space to, you know, share ideas and thoughts, and maybe people can learn from what you're trying to learn from. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more of my content. Also, you can follow me on my socials, they'll be linked in the description box as well. But yeah, that's it. Thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.